What's going on, guys? It's your boy Cash, and I wanted to finally do the Ignite team in Figure Fantasy. Now, what you guys already know about the Ignite team is based on a concept. All your characters have some type of synergy with the Ignite thing. So let's just quickly go over it. I know I should even go in there. I don't know why I backed out of the screen. That was more optimal for me to be in. So as you guys know, Ignite is a thing that puts like a burn on the character, right? Ignites them for 5 seconds. We'll talk about her a little bit later, more in depth. Causes the target to lose health every second. The higher its max health is. Some figurines attack against the enemies that are ignited, deal extra burn damage to them. So there are a couple characters that do have it. I did write down every single character that does have a synergy with it, but I want to more specify an actual comp that would actually make sense, because you only have 5 slots. As you guys know, you only have 5 slots. You also have to keep in mind of the brands, right? Because you guys want that juicy bonus, right? You know, I have to do this because I feel like sometimes you don't know who's watching your video. It could be a veteran, could be a newbie. You know, we're talking about sometimes you want to try to get these bonuses, right? The 3, 4, 5, and you know, sometimes you can substitute with a snow A or a night 9 or 56, you know, fall. I don't freaking know. We want to make sure that we're doing the best for our buck, and we want to make sure, especially when we're doing something revolving around a debuff, more specifically, this is a little bit different from the summon comp. But with Ignite or debuff, of course, there's Frost, right? I'll probably cover Frost next. The problem with debuffs is that you have to have them up a lot of the time, because sometimes there's characters that actually put it, but then you also need characters that actually benefit off of it as well. And you can't have too much of one thing, because if you have too much characters that are benefit off of the debuff being there, you might not have enough of the debuff actually being up, and then you're not even getting benefit off of it. And then you can have the opposite, where you have it up a lot, but you don't have anyone really benefited off of it. So I wanted to first start off with that notion, so you guys understand as far as like some of these picks and why I'm picking them. And it's not just because, well, that you know, I picked Arena as a Ignite character. Like, I know she has Ignite, but she's probably not that great in an Ignite comp because of she synergizes with it, but she kind of is a Ignite starter, but there are better. Let's first start off with the best. Sorry, it's gonna be a catchy so he's actually, in my personal opinion, the best Igniter, and I like to kind of start off with the best Ignite person in the comps, the same way I started off with Harriet. But he does have the chance to ignite for 5 seconds when a 20-second chance for it per attack, and that's gonna synergize with some other stuff that I'm gonna go through. But I don't really care. This is not really why we're saying he's the best Igniter. It's actually gonna be because of his passive. So as soon as the fight starts, you can see deals burn damage to enemies in the same line and ignites it for 12 seconds. You guys already know that these matches kind of last about 20 seconds, give or take. And if you're going for, and I did think about possibly breaking these up into like PvE or PvP type of builds, but I'm kind of gonna go over all of it. What I do like about him specifically as you upgrade him is that he reduces all the enemies' burn resistance by 20%. And they tell you right here, increases the amount of burn damage the target takes. And that's for every enemy that's on the field. As long as you keep applying burns all day and all willy-nilly, it'll be all good and dandy for you to keep your ignites and them doing more damage. Now, also here is what I do like about it is it starts off with the same line as him, but then if you upgrade him, as you keep upgrading him, it will eventually attack and ignite. Sorry, it ignites everyone for 12 seconds in the beginning of the fight, which is awesome. And this is why I'm trying to say a character like Arena, who yes actually ignites, but she doesn't have an ignite trigger, so she's considered, in my thing, where I'm going to specify as an ignite like setter or something like that. She sets the debuff and she doesn't really benefit off of it too much. So he is one of your best ones, and he's the one that you kind of want to have as the center of your core of your team. Now he does have a move, the Divine Sword. Attacks the current target and marks it for 5 seconds, which is fantastic, reducing its defense, making it's going to take more damage. From my knowledge, there is no magic attack and magic defense, so it's just defense. Attack, there's no way you can scale any other thing, so it's attack. So lowering the defense is a good thing, is all I'm trying to say. Now what I like about here, it heals all the figurines and summon creatures. When the marked enemy is defeated, the higher his health is, the more health is restored. So that's going to tell us right now, just off the bat, you want to store a lot of health on this guy. Obviously also you want him to stay alive. He's not like too big or too important of a like damage dealer, but having more help will heal it out. And if you want him to be more of a damage dealer, you can. He's not like a helper, he is a specialist, so you can actually do that if you really feel like it. Now, as you can see here, the next thing is just it reduces the damage 20% more, also restores 20 energy when the marked target is defeated. So skill, as you can see, he has a 70, he starts off with 70, so he's gonna pretty much mark them very quickly in the beginning. So if you want to position him to snipe a target out, you could do that. You have 5 seconds to do it, or you can have it that it cycles, like by the time he does the skill the second time that it might kill something. It's all up to you guys. It's all depending on how you want to run your team. So and you guys already know he constantly ignites targets all day, so he has a lot of ignite, especially with the basic attack. He ignites them for several seconds when he starts, and then he doesn't ignite on this, right, but he does mark the target, and if everyone's focus firing that same target, then you guys can get a nice fat heal. So that's pretty good. Good. Next one I think is pretty pivotal to the comp is going to be his homeboy, and I should also mention while I'm doing this is that he's Galatea. So he also has a skill. This skill's busted, by the way. It also synergizes. I'm going back and forth, I know. It also synergizes with his other guys. What Akechi's basic attack is that he heals everybody. The heal's not insane. It's not really why you play him, but it is loaded. He heals it. He gives them a 80% attack speed boost, which is stupid. The health restored is adjusted to his health, so again, maybe you want to make him all beefy cakes, because at least you need heals sometimes in these matches, right? But also, the attack speed boosts his accuracy bonus. Fantastic. Like I said, this skill is loaded. It does way too much. Also ignites all enemies at the same time. So everything is within this 5 seconds, all right? 5 seconds again. So he starts off with 60 energy, and he is another AoE ignite that you could have on the team. Now, yes, I know that, again, I'm trying to say like setters. Like, so if you have one or the other, like let's say if you have Akechi, you don't have him, but you have him and you don't have Akechi, these are your AoE starters, your AoE ignites setters if you need them, right? So also you can see here he just does more health, and all figurines, this is the first thing you get, which is nice. Attacks on those ignited targets deal more damage. That's kind of why I feel like you need him as well, because he gives all your figurines this nice little bonus that you do more damage on the ignite targets just with their as the basic attacks are hitting. So if you have these fast, and which he's already boosting attack speed, the other guy has a intermediate attack speed. I think it has his is a slow, but he's gonna keep doing that as well. Really cool here is that attacks against enemies that are ignited have a 20% chance to restore energy, and then eventually you get 30%. And what this is saying is that if this thing keeps triggering, which is mostly luck, but his accuracy does get boosted by his own skill, he will keep spamming this, and that's kind of what you want. You want him to be able to keep spamming this, hopefully within the 5 seconds that he's doing that. But if you have it, like I said, if you have Akechi, there's 12 seconds that you can be possibly gaining energy off of this, and then you can possibly keep going over and over again. Now, one thing I will admit I do not know, and you guys can let me know in the comment section below, is whether or not ignites stack. So as you saw, that was 12 seconds, and then he can do another skill, then it's 5 seconds. Or which would be tremendously worse, which I don't think is the true. I don't think it's true, is that they reset each other. They don't stack. So the 12 will be replaced by a 5. I don't actually know that, and I think that maybe I'll try to see that before the end of the video, but I currently don't know that. His thing is kind of important, really. It's kind of just this supports all allies, boosts basic attack by 40%, which is really strong because he does give you attacks speed, and then giving everyone attack speed, and plus his other bonus, you'll be doing a decent amount of damage on an ignite target. Boost attack power of all allies in the same line by another 20%. So when you are using him, it is very positional. Like, you do have to think the person that's going to be in front and behind him, that you really want to give them, make sure you're putting them here once you unlock this, right? It doesn't really matter. If you don't have this unlocked, it won't really matter. So those two, I think, are the two. So, right, they're both Galatea, have ignites, AoE ignites at that. So next one that I want to say is that you definitely need a frontliner. And also, this will be your third Galatea person in the comp, and I think this is kind of where your three. I think these three are pretty much your solid base, and everyone else after that is somewhat like replaceable. You can even throw in other colors if you want to. Like, let's say for example you want to throw in someone that just has a very fast attack speed because of all the attack speed stuff plus the bonus hitting an ignite target, and then you can kind of just sit there on that. I think that's also perfectly fine to do. I think you always need a front line. You need some type of defender that's going to sit there while your team is doing all the nonsense. This is not a nuke comp, so especially with this ignite stuff, it's going to take a while. So you do need a front line. You need someone that's going to be able to tank. So here, I think he's the best option. As you can see, nothing special on the basic attack, but his ultimate here does ignite as well for 8 seconds in a fan cone in front of him. So he does have an ignite, so he has an additional ignite to put on targets. But most importantly is this: after unleashing the ultimate in next 8 seconds, attacks against enemies that are ignited. Doesn't matter if he ignites them, so this is why it really synergizes. Also because he has 80, you know, he has 80% here. 80, he starts off with 80 energy, so he's gonna start off and he's gonna do this move really quickly. But he heals for 54% of the damage as long as they're ignited. Mwah! Perfectly fine. This guy's gonna have so much healing because it doesn't matter, as long as he gets this skill up multiple times over and over and over again, he's gonna keep popping off. He's gonna keep popping off. He's gonna keep healing, keeping himself alive. Now then, eventually, which is nice, boost the damage by 20%. Also boost damage reduction by 8% of each enemy that is ultimate hit. So that's where position will actually matter, because you're gonna want a decent amount of damage reduction to keep him alive, keep him in the front. He also has this beautiful passive, which is like about a counter attacking, which is cool. When attacked by the enemy's basic attack, has a 25% chance to counter attack the enemies within a fan shape. Counter attack, I'm assuming, would be his basic attacks, also synergizing with this part of his ultimate. And then as you can see here, this will be adjusted by the figure's accuracy bonus. So now I think pretty much you'd want to make sure his accuracy is higher. If you guys don't know, accuracy from what I've seen is on gear sets. I don't know if it's a gear set itself, but it's in some of the gear sets as far as the other stats in it, HP and some defense, but definitely make sure you're stacking accuracy on this guy. You can also see that it boosts the damage by 10% after a counterattack is triggered. More importantly, has a 30% chance to counterattack with whatever, but restores 5 energy when this is triggered. So the higher you have the accuracy bonus on this guy, the more often he's going to keep countering, and then the more often it's going to trigger 5 energy, which means he's going to keep doing his skill, then he's going to keep healing. You kind of want to cycle like that. So another way to kind of keep that ignite uptick on enemies while the fight is going on. So those are your 3, in my opinion. This is your ignite comp. You already, since you're doing 3 Galatees right there, you're gonna already get the 10% attack and the HP boost just from having those 3. If you throw in any other ones, which I'll spoil, there aren't any other ignite kind of people that are in Galatee that I saw, unless you specifically just want, like I said, to pick a character that has a fast attack speed that can benefit off of the damage from Zhou, I think that's how you say his name. Or you can throw in another tank as her. She's a really good tank, Yuki, and you could maybe if you want to put her for a 4th. Doesn't have any synergies with like I said, with Ignite specifically, but if you just want 2 tanks, you could do that, and then you'll get the 4 bonus. I think she's also a pretty good Vanguard because she sits in the front and she gets a really crazy attack speed boost, and then she will keep triggering that thing. Like I said, what is it, the 5 seconds? She would really synergize with that because she gets a crazy attack speed boost on top of that, and she'll really whittle someone down while being somewhat tanky. And those are just some honorable mentions, just so you guys know. You can also throw in him. He has a nice thing. He gets more attack speed that he gets more energy, then he keeps popping this thing off, and you know, there's a couple synergies. I have a different comp in mind for this guy though. Next character that I wanted to bring into your attention is going to be Rai. I back out, I'm so sorry. So Rai, she's from Let's Red. But she does have Ignite synergies. She's a little bit confusing to describe, but I'm just gonna go straight to here. This as you can see has nothing to do with it, but attacks random enemies 6 times, right? If the target is ignited, it does extra burn damage equal to 40% of her attack. So you're gonna make her big fat attack stack, right? You can see you can get more attacks, and also, which is the creme de la creme, this is kind of why I almost think she's like an automatic 4th in my opinion, is that she has a 50% chance to stun the enemies that she's hitting. This will be adjusted by her accuracy bonus, so you can kind of stack accuracy, but I still think as a character, oh sorry, I should be saying how far they attack. So Akechi, Zoe, and Zoe, they attack from the back. They have range, and Sonata is a melee character. She's attacking from the back. Her having accuracy and all this other stuff, I feel like you can just go for damage. She's not going to be in risk of in line, and especially because of this. Enters the excited state when health is above 85% and boosts damage by 30% and attack speed by 25%. So she also has a fast attack speed, so her with synergizing with Zoe would be really good. And you know, you keep hit, and then this thing goes off. And then you see also here, which I think is amazing, becomes immune to damage once periodically, which triggers up to 1 time, which is not really important because she's gonna usually be behind something, but when she does get hit, or if she possibly gets hit by some person doing a skill, then you know that's going to be a little bit annoying. But this one, it allows her to stay in the excited state when her health is a little bit lower, is above 40%, which is fantastic, and it also boosts the damage by 70%. So this is kind of like your nuker. She's sitting here, but the only thing obviously that's kind of crappy is that it's random, so she's hitting random targets. She might hit the tank, but if you luck out, you might hit someone in the back, you might hit the healer and really do some good damage. I think she's, like I said, I think she's pretty much a solid fourth, unless you have some type of other game plan in mind. The other character that I think is really cool to notice is also good to mention. I will mention Irina. Where are you, baby girl? You started off the video, I didn't forget about you. She does have this thing, like the Hell's Corrosion. It is good. It ignites them for 5 seconds, so it's another ignite. I do still want to mention that you don't want to stack them too much, but as you can see, her energy is relatively low, so she'll pretty much be another ignite later, right? She'll be another ignite after everyone has already ignited and does some stuff, and then eventually she'll go, right? Now she boosts damage of this skill every time she uses it, up to 5 times. The reason why I don't care too much about this is because the matches are normally short. This is more of a PvE thing, and even in PvE the matches are normally short. I can only imagine this being effective in Azazel, because technically she'll do it multiple times, and by the time it will actually be a decent stream and it will be stronger. Another thing that I do like, if the ignited enemies are defeated, deals damage. The only thing that this is not specified whether or not it's ignited through her damage or it's actually from anything. Not exactly sure, but she also has another ignite. Now this ignite that it has here triggers every 10 seconds, and then eventually you can get it down to 8 when you keep leveling her. And it only goes for the lowest health unit, so it is trying to snipe out a unit pretty much. I think it does synergize this with the next character that I'm going to explain, which is going to be Ophelia. Now she also synergizes, like I said, with having a fast attack speed and things of that nature. But you can see here, it's only really for this skill. She kind of more synergizes with summoning stuff. The target is ignited, increases the damage boost to 30% of this skill. This is a 18, but it can be 30% if it's boosted. Now, as you guys see, if it strikes the lowest health target, if the target is then defeated, she does it to another one. It's a kill reset, right? And this one also increases the attack for each enemy defeated, stacking up to 5 times and lasts for 5 seconds. So even if she kills one and then she maybe not kill the other one, at least she'll start getting damage. She also has this that deals damage to all enemies when another one is defeated, kind of helping out the whole aspect of trying to snipe units. Now she has no other synergies besides that, besides the fact that she does have a fast attack speed, and if they're all ignited with Zoo, I keep calling him different names throughout this whole video, then she will eventually, and as enemies are dying, and you see deals damage to all enemies when an ally summon unit is dying, which is where she kind of synergizes with summons. But this damage, I don't think it's that crazy. It's kind of like to chip them away. It's a little chip, slowly chipping them, slowly, surely. My only issue with her is that she starts off with 0 energy. So she's really hoping that everything's kind of ignited already and everything is ready to die, and then she kind of does a whole sweep of the entire team. I think you could do some stuff with her. I do think that you just have to have everything timed a little bit, and sometimes that's more annoying. It's more complex than you probably are willing to do, like all of us. That's why I more suggest these AoE ignite starters instead of these conditional ones on a line and stuff like that. A lot of people obviously probably know about the boy Yamazaki. I think he's really cool because he can snipe the back line. He can do it very easily as well. As you can see here, he has this attack speed. He has a fast attack speed, again synergizing with the burn stuff, and he has a chance to instantly critical do crits every 4 attacks. So more attack speed means he's going to do this more often. Synergizes with his passive that he deals extra damage to the last enemy in the line upon critting. So you could actually either give him a lot of attack speed, or you can just give him try to give him crit so he crits more often, so he keeps attacking the back line outside of these 4 attacks, and then you can get it down to 3. It's kind of up to you how you want to do it. And you do also have this. Now this is the metal stream. Attacks the last enemy in the same line as the target. If the target is ignited, oh my god. If the target is ignited, it does additional damage equal to 30% of the damage of the ultimate. So that's gonna, it only does a good decent chunk, especially if they're ignited. And he also gets 10 energy back at the same time. Now he does have crit every time he does do this move. Again, these matches don't last that long. This is more of a thing, again, when you see kind of stuff like this, it's for an extended battle. He does get a lot of energy per second, so you do have to keep that in mind. So he does, if you've ever used him before, he does kind of use his stuff a lot more often, especially if he can get these crits going. Can be stacked up to 5 times, and then you can also have it that it stacks up to 10 times. He'll be critting almost every attack, so he'll also be on, but that's again later in the game, later into the fight, where he's kind of staying alive for a long period of time. Only way you're going to keep him alive that long is if his special, he kind of keeps dodging and restores his health. He has no healing whatsoever, and the healers that we've mentioned so far, unless you're stacking HP on Akechi, you don't really have too much healing with this setup. So it is a very damage oriented thing. The last but not least character is actually the character that just dropped, which is going to be Zhu Lang. Zhu Lang actually does have Ignite synergy, which I kind of didn't know. That's kind of weird. So you can see he has an intermediate attack. He sits from the back, of course. This guy, he deals all damage to everyone, right? And then he changes the weather to east wind. Now, I was just reading, I read this first part, but I never read these down here. So while the east wind is blowing, reduces the amount of healing that the other characters get by the enemies by 40%. When they are defeated, they explode, dealing great amount of damage to those surrounding them. So this is fantastic, right? But then you go down here and it says, while the east wind is blowing, extra burn damage will be dealt every second to the enemies that are ignited. So for 10 seconds, the ignited enemies will be taking even more. It's kind of cool that its wind is synergizing with fire, because that is very bad when it's very windy and there's fire. That's how forest fires and stuff happen. So I do like that they kind of implemented that in this character. You can also extend the duration of the east wind to 12 seconds. While the east wind is also blowing, teammates, including summoned creatures, critical hits ignite the enemy's hit. So that's pretty cool. Really cool synergy that I didn't actually read into, because I was like, the odds of me getting this character is non-existent. So you can also see that he has this really weird kind of other passive that he increases the crit, that also synergizes with what is his name? Yamazaki. Adjacent to him, you will get a crit bonus, which he definitely needs to keep up his crits, constantly sniping the back target. Also hooks a lantern to these characters, which absorbs lethal damage once, transforms it into a shield instead. Fantastic. You also can level this up to make more crit damage, so make Yamazaki more deadly, more vicious. Also any character obviously that's surrounding him, because he's this is the helper bonus. And you can also have it supports all allies, restores all energy by 10 when the lantern is hooked. So pretty much right in the beginning, get an additional 10 energy. Fantastic. So if it was up to me, pretty much my comp of the Ignite comp, or all in all, would probably be Akechi, Zui, Zowie, Zozo, Sonata, Rai, and then I would probably do Zuang if that would be my dream, right? That would be my dream. Since I don't have him, I would definitely use Yamazaki possibly instead, because I think that he kind of, I like the ability to snipe in the back row. Maybe more PvP focus for that. They kind of snipe in the back row and really kill out a really pesky character in the back, because they usually are built more damage oriented. Or if I do want to maybe just attack a line and maybe do a continual AoE, maybe pick Arena in there as well instead of Yamazaki. It's pretty much like I said, it really depends on which ones you want to go with. Like Yamazaki and Zug, or however you say his name, really synergize it together. But you can maybe not put Rai in there, and then maybe just go with that kind of crit base. It really depends on what you want to do. And of course, there are other options that you have if you don't want to keep Ignite. You can also just switch in another character that you just think is solid, that really does, like I said, as long as you're kind of basing the first two, Akechi and Zoe, and then you could just really do with a lot of characters that have fast, or they have attack speed bonuses to really melt stuff. I think you can also synergize it with this guy, and then kind of have it like because he has attack speed, and then all his little minions also just start attacking, does a lot of damage. There's a lot of options that you have. But anyway, YFOs in the comment section below, let me know how you feel about the Ignite comp in Figure Fantasy. Do you guys think that I got it right? Do you guys do a different version of it? Do you guys think that one is, something, whatever you guys think, let me know. But hey, that's MFO. Now you guys know. Like, comment, subscribe, and just remember that every day at the Kashino is your lucky day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.